Tonight I'm going to do something I very rarely do, and I don't know why. It's, I guess I've always found it a little bit daunting, but really it doesn't need to be. So if we get time, I'm going to attempt to do 2 cards tonight. I was only going to bring you one, so I've been racing around in the last half hour, cutting up some bits and pieces for another card if we get around to it. So the men in our lives are sometimes forgotten, aren't they? We've got a couple of sets that are retiring by the dock with dockside guys. Now, if you've got a fisherman in your life, like I have, you need to grab that set because we don't often get a lot of male sets. And I guess, like Sarah has said on her video, we always ask for flowers. And I guess, you know, most women want flowers, so we keep bringing in new flowers. So I guess that's the same thing with the male-orientated cards. This isn't a male-orientated one. It can be for anybody, but it's also retiring and on the clearance rack, very, very cheap. I just can't remember the price of it. It was something like $9 or $8 or something like that. And this one, I'm sort of dragging out some sets I haven't used enough, and I should use my sets more. I'm using a couple of elements only out of this one. I've just discovered how great these little wavy things are for making clouds. You can make clouds with that one. I'm going to use them as a bit of a water effect in my first card. I have done some prep because I wasn't sure if this piece would dry, so I'm just going to pop my other one there so I can copy off it as well. And first off, have you all got the new water painters? I've not used them much, but I got them out the other day and I've started to use them a bit and get into some watercolouring. So this is the wide brush. They come in a pack of 3, and you've got 3 different. This is a bit finer one, not a thick one like this, and then you've got a really fine one there, which I'll show you if and when I use them. I'm not sure if I used them with this card or not. It's really just flying by the seat of my pants because, well, this one I did recently, but the other one I did a week or so ago, so I can't quite remember how I did it, but, you know, it doesn't really matter when you watercolour. When you create a card even, you can just, and what I normally like to do before I start is to spritz the back of it so that because it was curling up, that just reminded me that's what I do. It kind of it keeps it a bit flatter as you're working. Is that the wrong lid? I get my lids mixed up. Well, that was the aim anyway. It hasn't quite worked. Just might need to wet that a bit more. And it usually does work. Of course, when you're on camera, nothing works, does it? Just going to make that a bit wetter. And I'm going to start off with Pool Party. What did I do with that? You can use your re-inkers, but I just find it easier to just put some ink on a block. And then, yeah, I know that you need to re-ink it when you do that, but that doesn't bother me. I'd rather it's quicker and easier for me to do that. I feel as though probably I waste less ink as well. So I'm just going to start at the top and make a bit of a sky. With this big flat brush, which I'm finding this is great for backgrounds. You probably don't want to put it straight on the card like I did there, and that's too much sky, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to go over it with a blue, so it's not going to matter because it's the same kind of colour. That's going to be fairly pale, but that's okay. Then we'll take our balmy blue. Get some on the block, of course. I forgot to do that. And I might not close that up because I want to use that in a minute. Just squeeze some water on there. I just like to go off on my paper towel a bit so that it's not, I'm not putting big daubs of colour that you can't get rid of on there. I'm sure you know what I mean if you've done watercolouring before. And I probably haven't got enough ink there, and this is drying out a bit. So I left my pad open so I can get some more. Can always add more. And I think you guys can see, I think I'm in the frame okay tonight. Sometimes I'm not. Just kind of want that a bit darker. I wonder if it was balmy blue I used when I did this one yesterday or the day before. I did several. I'll show you my attempts. I thought they were good enough to keep, but I was trying to do an easy watercolour, and after I'd mucked around stamping by wetting stamps and whatever, I thought, you know what, it's probably just as easy to just watercolour without trying to use stamps. I have used stamps on this one. I'll show you in a minute. Just need a bit more. That's a bit dull down the bottom. Now I haven't got enough. Try not to put my finger on it and have a finger mark impression when it dries. That water is very pale. It's not like my other one at all. Maybe I used, that's why I should write things down. Maybe I used Seaside Spray. Although I would have thought this was darker than the Seaside Spray. We'll go with that, because what else I did was, and I'm using a photopolymer stamp, so that's the next thing I did with this. I'll just clean that ink off there. Was I used the long stamp I was telling you about before out of the Sending Sunshine, I think that's what it's called. And you could do this with the Waterfront stamp too. It doesn't have to be with this one. Because that's wet, it'll sort of all blend in together. You can stamp off or not stamp off, do whatever you fancy. I just thought that gave a fairly nice effect. Okay, done with that one. Just clean off my foam mat. If anyone that's got a stamper artist, did you know that you could get these foam mats to put in your stamper artist? And also they can double up as your normal mat that you normally use. And the next thing I did, I took this little, it's got a little bit of sun and a little bit of sea in it, and I took my Mango Melody and I stamped the sun, hoping that's still wet because I want it to bleed a little bit. I don't want it to bleed a lot, but I want it to bleed a little, so I might just clean that off a bit, make sure I haven't got the wrong colour there. Just want to wet that again because I want it to bleed. Actually, that's really washed out, that pool party, do you think? Looks a bit pale for a sky. You want a bit of colour. Always dries darker. So we might just add a bit more pool party to that. It's the thing, you can always add more, but you can't take it away. Makes you feel like a bit of an artist using these, especially these new ones. I'm just going to not put the lid on that because I always worry that I'm going to catch the bristles in there by pulling it in and out too much. Now I did stamp that up, but I'll just do that again. I didn't want the bottom part of that. I wasn't being very careful, was I? Let's see what I did. Yeah, I've got a bit of yellow on the water bit. Not that it will matter much, but I just forgot that I didn't want that all stamped. I just want the sun bit stamped. So it'll look like it's setting. Let's put it in there. I'll just clean that off. Should have my chamois, but it is there somewhere, but that was easier to grab. Okay. Now we're going to have some mountains with this stamp. Whoops, needs a wash, this one. It's losing its stick. This is also out of Waterfront, which you could grab right now on a discounted price. Just going to see if that's going to stamp, and it is. We just want a bit of a mountain here. Just get that off there. That's messy. And we'll do, oops, I must have had ink on the corner. Let's just try and get rid of that. That's what you've got to watch with photopolymer when you get ink on the block. I'll just go over that with the Balmy Blue stamp in a minute. Just make sure I haven't got ink on there again. In this light I couldn't see that. There we go. Now my challenge is to get it all lined up on the same line. I'm not very good at that. But let's see how we go. That's not too bad. Just cheat and use my baby wipe there. And I'll just bring back the Balmy Blue and do another one of those little wavy things there and try and get rid of that green bit. If I just do a bit, and I've got ink on that bit too. That's really, I've really got to watch that with the photopolymer. And I want that to go there, so hopefully I haven't messed it up. I'll just do a few more so that it all looks like it's meant to be. Yep, I think that'll be okay. Alright, so that's how I did my background. And I'm just going to put that aside to dry. And you can hardly see that green bit there now. And that actually might be where my greeting goes. I may as well finish one as I'm going because this is one that I did earlier by the magic of television. So we might continue on with this piece, and I'll just show you. I'll just put that out the road so I don't get some ink on it that I don't want on there. I've already coloured and cut these out, but I'll just show you how I coloured these ones in with my soft suede. More ink on there too, I need to get off, don't I? A bit of blue ink on there as well. Messy night tonight. So I think I might, not going to wet this is watercolour shimmer paper. I made a mistake there. I started stamping with Memento, and you need to use, I have stamped these with StazOn, which you need to use when you're watercolouring. The Memento will just go all blurry. Just going to squeeze that a bit more. Make sure you've got water coming down so I can mix my colour. I don't know if you can see that. I don't just go into the ink, I mix it around a bit so that it's not just all straight soft suede. Forgot what it was for a minute. Not sure, I think this brush might be a bit too thick for me. Just might help me get a little bit of ink laid down. And I'll have to use my narrower brush. Just going to clean off my brush. Don't want to put it away dirty. Make sure there's no soft suede on that, and there's not. So we can probably, well, I won't put it away yet because I'll use that for the next card as well. Now, which one do I want? And with these ones, you need to screw and unscrew the opposite way to what you would normally. It's just the way they've been made. Oh, and I forgot my grey for my bird. I think I made him grey granite. Oh, hi Maria. Don't know if anyone's asking me any questions. No. You're all just watching. All you girls got these new pens? You Stampin' Up demonstrators that are watching me? They're great for getting in those narrow bits. I just did the rope all the same colour, so I couldn't be fussed changing colours for that. This set will definitely be being kept in my collection. I love it. And I'll do the boat. Thought I might as well do them the same colour. I couldn't sort of figure it out, and I think it looks like a little wooden boat anyway. It doesn't look like a motorised boat, does it? I don't know much about fishing boats, but yeah, it doesn't look like my husband's anyway. Get that bit in there. And I don't know if these will be dry enough for me to go back and just do, I might try just to show you. Just do, can you see where the stamps help you? See where those little impressions are there? Then you just go back in with another layer and just go where that shading is. Just to give it a little bit of a accent. And down the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, that looks as though you can see properly. And just down here. And the same on the, I guess it's the boardwalk, isn't it? Or the dock. Just, I don't be too fussy, just a little bit. Not sure how much the dye cuts a bit of this away, so I'm not sure how much. I think it cuts all the water away, so I'm not going to worry about that. It's a little bit of shading there and there. I'm just going to blend that in a little bit, and that's pretty good to go too. I will make up another card with that. So I don't have enough mail cards, so that'll be good to add to my collection. Now I don't know what I did with the lid. Oh, there, right there. Pop that one on. And it tricks me every time. You've got to go the opposite way to what you normally get. So, is this the wrong one? The opposite way. What am I doing? Normally go that way, so I'll go. No. That's got it. It wasn't pressed down enough. Okay, so that I will also cut out later. I've already pre-cut some, so that I'm just going to get rid of that ink off there in case we have a nasty accident, which I'm liable to do. Push them all out the road because we're done with them. And else did we do? One. I had happy birthdays, so where did I put that? Here. Oh, and I didn't grab the punch. And I need a scrap of minute. Well, actually, I'll start mounting these while that dries a little bit. I have a habit of putting them in the punch too soon, and they get smeared doing that. So, which way is my card going? That way, isn't it? So we'll just do this. Oops, watch where you're throwing things. You don't want to throw them into ink. And I've got ink on here now too. Oh, I didn't do him a little bird, but I did him grey, did I? Yeah, grey granite, my other sample. And we can, looking for my card. I need to put that there, because he's got little bits, what can I say? Little appendages hanging off him. I'm going to use because I'm lazy, I don't want to be here all night cutting up little bits of dimensional for them, and I want to dimension the boat because it's nice and flat. I can easily dimension it. You don't want to make life too hard for yourself. So where do I want this? I want it up the right way for a start. Probably want that. I think it can probably come off that piece to there a bit. And my boat, I want to dimension that. Just a couple will do. Oh, something's stuck on my finger. And put him there like as though he's tied up to the bank. Something else stuck on my finger. And I did have some twine. Oh, here it is, hiding in there. Just remembered I need black twine for the other card too, so I'll grab that when I go and get the punch. And this will have to be enough for this, because I can't remember where I put this in my craft room. Could be anywhere. And we'll see how we go. I'm not going to go 3. It's going to have to be that. Maybe we can. We got too much there, haven't I? Just straight. Oh, that hurt. Straighten that out a bit. Don't run it through your fingers that sharp that it hurts. I actually got my finger caught in one of the new punches because I was too silly to get my finger out the road. Will that be enough? I think it will. No, still not gonna be enough to go around another time, so this will have to do. I'm getting that caught on that edge now, aren't I? All right, hook in there, both of you hook in there. That might make it easier. All right, tie him a little bow. Or you could try a knot if you preferred. I don't mind a bow, even though it is a male card. It's a bow out of string, so I feel that's appropriate. push that up a bit. Grab my twine scissors, and a bit of a trim. Do that now. And now my tear tape to make sure he stays tight across there. Where's the... That's there. I want that straight. I always pull mine straight, tight, and preferably straight. Got that too big now, haven't I? Hanging over the edge, and I don't want to pull the end of it off, so I'll have to cut that. Makes life more difficult for myself, won't I? So I'll just stick that bit there, but we might get a bigger bit, because it's not quite big enough. And that just keeps that taut. See how it's a bit loose there? It's a little trick for you. And that will go on here. I'll use my wet glue, I think. Just make sure I've got a little bit of glue on all of the edges. Okay. And we've got a bit much glue there, and I've got nothing to get it off with, only this. Got no scraps or anything, have I? It's all right. I'll pop that on our base now. I could probably use some glue for that actually. I wanted to use the the wet glue because of the watercolouring, so that I could press it down so it wouldn't be as warped. Well, it wouldn't be warped, I should say. I think that's straight. Okay. Pop our inside in using fuse again. Actually, I was going to, I might be able to do that once I get this in. I was going to try and do a little bit of sponging to make it look like water. I might still be able to manage that. Just left my brushes in from another project, and these have just got, well, hopefully, no, it's all gone off. See that one? It's all gone. I don't want it too dark. This is what I've been doing with these brushes. I've just been trying to clean them off as best as I can. But if you don't, and it's got just a little bit like that left, it's just enough to decorate your card and your envelope. It's still got blue on there, but I'm keeping this for a blue. This is my dark blue one, and the other one's my light blue one. So that's what now I need to grab the punch to punch that out. Oh, I was going to punch out out of the Mossy Meadow, and I forgot, so I'll have to put the Mossy Meadow in my punch. Now I just want to punch that out of there. It doesn't quite fit, but it's close enough. My ear's stuck in now because I didn't do that. Punch it all the way. Now we'll get a Mossy Meadow one out of a bit of scrap. Over here. And just use my wet glue for that. I didn't put any rhinestones or anything on my other cards because I really couldn't decide what. And I thought, well, if you can't decide what goes, well, perhaps it doesn't need any. What do you think, guys? I'll show you the finished card when I'm finish messing around here with this sentiment. Bring back my bin. That away. Now where did I have that? About there. On my original card, I can tell you because you won't tell anybody. I put the sentiment there because I did the same thing with the green. I had a big green smear on there. So there's that watercoloured one. I'll just show you a couple more that I did. These were all my practices where I was trying to use a stamp to get the same effect. Then I just thought, just use your brushes and just watercolour. So that's what I did. Save that there, and I'll just show you. I've been messing around with a few different. I've already showed you this technique, but this was just with the same set. That was the technique where we did the sponging and we sandpapered it off. Same there with the fishing one. I did one with the geared up garage. I had a fling on mail cards, and I found that really easy to stamp on the foil with stays on, so you didn't have to colour in the car, and I thought it blended really nicely. So I was really happy with those ones. But because it already showed you that technique, I didn't want to do that one again tonight. Firstly, we're going to do the same thing. This one I'm going to be using, I think it's called Serene Scenes. I'll have a look for you in a minute. It's another one that I haven't used enough. It won't matter if I mess this one up because I've already done another one. But I'll try not to because I'm trying and remember how I did it myself. That's the thing, you just do it and then you can't remember what you've done if you leave it too long before you recreate. Just want to get plenty of water on there because even though it's not a warm night, it's not a cold night either. It's drying out pretty quick. Okay, what did I do? If I look at my sample it says I've used Navy, Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana and Granny Apple. So I'm going to start with Coastal Cabana. No, I didn't spray on the back either, did I? Where's my water spray? That it really helped much with the other one. Let's see if it does this time. Just leave that there in case I need it. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, kind of the same thing, kind of the same but kind of different. I'm going to have grass down the bottom, so I just want to leave a little bit of area down the bottom for my grass. I might have this too wet. Wanted to make sure it didn't dry out and not move as smoothly. I don't know that I used this colour. That's what I've written down. Won't matter, this one will be different, won't it? There are no rules. Absolutely no rules. I think what I was going for was sort of like 3 colours of, I wonder where I got that yellow from. 3 colours of, probably off the paper towel, you dill. If I can fold it over. That'll be alright because the grass is green, so the yellow will blend in. Well, let's just do Pacific Point and see where that leads us. You can just have a bit of a play. You can play along with me. So to know where I got those dots from. Maybe it's off the paper towel. Maybe it is. Maybe I'll ditch the paper towel. Because it's got little circles on it. Oh well. It'll add to the effect, won't it? I don't think I should have got rid of my pool party because I need to blend those two in, don't I? Just clean off the Pacific Point, but I'll leave that there. Grab a bit more of this and hopefully blend those two colours in. Just like that. That'll do. And I need a navy. I'll grab the navy out. Really hoping I can achieve that look because I love that background I did previously. Did I use this big brush? These are the questions, aren't they? Maybe I used a little bit of a wash of that. Let's go off my paper and I want to start from the top. I wish I didn't have those dots in there. They must have come off the paper towel. Anyway, that's just giving you the idea of how I did that. You'll have as much idea as what I do because I don't remember. I'm just playing. And I'll show you that when it dries off a bit. I'll show you the other one too because they dry off a bit lighter than when they start out. Just trying to clean that brush a little bit. How much water have I got in there? Come on. Not coming down. There we go. Just want to blend all of that. Yeah, I think the dots must have come off the paper towel. We'll blame that anyway. And then, we've finished yet, have we? We've got to do the granny apple down the bottom. I think I tried to use a stamp for that. I'll show you the other one that's dry in a minute. I'm not going to do that tonight. I might use the one that I used for the waves before. We'll see what this looks like. Oh, I can't just dive my brush in there, can I? Not really. I can't also remember whether I let this dry. I don't think I need to. No, it's going to be fine. And yeah, I could. Where is it? Where did I put all those stamps I had before here? I could use this to make a little bit of dimension in the grass as well. Well, that's wet too. Don't know if this is what I did before, but I quite like that. I'm liking it all except the... Didn't have those dots up the front, up the top of it, and I reckon that's probably from the paper towel. Don't know what else it'd be. So now, I need to stamp the girl. She's going to be a girl on a swing. Now, I want that. Yes, I know it's upside down. I'm not going to do a repeat of last week. Well, hopefully I'm not. So I want her. Where is she? I want her... I'll turn her around so that I know what I'm doing. I want her about there because I've got this nice branch that I want to put. I want to make it look as though she's swinging off that, so I probably need to have her further down, like about there. Yep, about there I reckon. I suppose it matters which way. Just make sure that's in the corner. And why I'm doing it with on the Stamparatus and with Stays On is because it's watercolour, and because with Stays On you get a more true black. And also once you've watercoloured, or you've got a image that's like this one that's totally blacked out, sometimes they take a little bit before they fill in properly, which this is doing. Okay, so that's good now. Now while we've got the Stamparatus here, I do have the greeting. Lined it up before on my Stamparatus to make sure that it was, I thought I did. That piece was smaller than what I thought I had. So, is that going to fit? I don't know that it is. It might just. How much rubber have we got? Not much. That's what I usually always look at. I might just get, yep, might just get it in. Now I have to make sure that's straight again. I can't tell until I stamp sometimes. I think it is. Come out. I'm just going to take her out and try it and see. Perfect. So put her back in. On my previous sample, I stamped it in, I had embossed it in white, and I wasn't happy with the look of it. It was too much white. Okay, I'm happy with that. Clean those off later. Now, I guess you all know that you clean your Stays On off with Stays On cleaner. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that's why I didn't clean it immediately. I should, but I don't want to keep you waiting all night while I clean a stamp off, do I? Now, no, that goes straight on there, so I need to put my wet glue, put some wet glue on here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to put the string because I had that when I'd added a sentiment, had it behind that. I don't know if I can do that on this, so we might have to forego the string. It's not because I've got any bling on that one either. That's a bit unusual for me. I think I've done a pretty good job there. Okay. Now to decide where I want it. Look at my grotty hands. I'm going to flip that over because it's got a bit of glue on it. And I want this to go like as though she's swinging off it. I might have to chop some of it off. Looks like I do. Okay, grab my big scissors. You can see I've had a little bit of a practice go on the back too. That's what I sometimes do. You can sometimes do that when you're using your shimmer or your watercolour paper. If one side doesn't work out, you can flip it over and have another stab on the other side. Well, I don't think I'm going to trim those off. Let me see. So that will go on there. I told you anything could happen tonight. And what did I do on the inside? I did the little girl on the sling again. So let's do that. We'll have to position her differently. How did I do that? Pick her up without smudging her. Okay, that's staying pretty good too. I sound surprised, don't I? I might use my fuse to get this one on. I'm a bit brave there, got a hole in the middle. And we will put some bling on this one. That's better. There we are. We need our use our brush and put add a bit of interest, don't we? I'm loving these brushes. Be careful when I do that, because I've put that under there and it could make a line, because I'll have a line underneath my envelope. Yeah, that looks good, I think. Hope you guys do too. I'm going to put this in here. And grab ourselves some bling. Okay, now, black or rhinestone, do you reckon? Thinking perhaps rhinestones. Black might be a bit somber. Rhinestones will give it a bit of something else. Okay, so there's that one, and there's that one that we've done tonight. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little watercolouring session. Bye-bye.